Well, another fine day, January 1st, 2012. Good to be here. Good to be in the midst.
Yeah.
And I don't take it lightly that the Creator's given us another day. But He said, this is the day that the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Not everybody has the same mindset, so therefore they don't have the same blessing.
Right.
When the Lord knows that your heart is not the heart to understand those simple things, you can't have the things that He wants to give you. Because you don't understand that. This is the day that the Lord has made. I'll rejoice and be glad in it. I'm just glad that He gave me another day where basically you can say where I can fellowship or converse with Him. You know, it's another day that He gave me opportunity that I could try to get closer to Him. He's given me another day of mercy so that whatever I've been going through, I could get it right with Him.
Yeah.
So no wonder, this is the day that the Lord has made. I'll rejoice and be glad in it, because this is another day that He has given me to get something right that I wasn't able to get right prior to this day. That's how I look at it. And every person that is breathing should look at it that way, but they don't. Therefore, the relationship that you could have, of course, is not in place, because you haven't pressed in to seek that relationship out, where you're hearing His voice clearer, where when He's telling you, don't go left, go right, or go right, don't go left, that you instantly tune in. This is what building the relationship does. It allows you to be able to hear His voice clearer and clearer on matters of anything that in your daily walk, you know, so that you have direction, so that you're not unsure about everything that you do.
And not only to hear it, but to respond to it.
Right, because many do hear
and they do not respond.
And they don't respond. A friend of mine was just recently telling me, yeah, a friend of mine just like this, you probably had this one. He said that I came home, and a lot of people will not say, I feel, you know, the Lord told me, or the Spirit of the Lord told me, don't park your car here. He heard it, so he said.
Same thing with me.
So he said I heard it, and I went in the house. And he said it didn't make any sense to him, you know, because he's been parking there, along with a lot of other people. It was in a fire lane, but he really, it's one of those, you know, it's one of those tricky little areas where they got a little bitty sign all the way down, basically at the end of the road.
But he parked there long enough where he knew.
Probably did, but because so many people park there all the time, it was like
it's not strange fruit anymore.
It's not right. In other words, okay, they got a sign down there, but they must not really care. Right? It's right. It becomes somebody said a precedent. We can do this thing, no problem. So, but he wasn't thinking about that when he was being told, "Don't park there. Don't park your car there."
But when you hear that word, it's faint, but it's real quick and sharp.
But it comes back again. He goes into the house. And he's moving around, and he's moving car.
Okay, mine's happened once.
He goes to sleep. He says he went to sleep, and he said he woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he says, you should move your car. He gets up far enough to walk out, looks outside, sees his car is there, no problem, goes back to sleep. When he wakes up again in the morning, the next door neighbor's banging on his door, letting him know that they're out there loading up his car, along with other cars. They got a big towaway thing, and they're loading a bunch of cars up. And he said, "Look, man, I've been parked. I live here. Blah 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 blah. You know, da 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 da." And he said, "Well, I got, you know, give me $175." The guy said, you know. right now. And so he said, look, okay. He said, my bank is right across the street. I'll go over there and get it. So he comes back with 175, and well, it's too late. We done got it all hitched up and stuff. And you can go to this place and you can get it for $275.
I'm a witness.
Let me tell you something I just found out about towing.
So that the end of the story, just to make this story and cut it up, is that had you listened to the voice of Lord telling you, and he kept telling you in that soft voice to do something, disaster, we call it disaster, but disaster won't come against you. Now, it's not really disaster, but it can be.
It's a price
Depends
that you had
on,
to pay.
There's a price that you pay. That's just towing your car.
Yeah.
What about when you decide to retaliate against somebody who's done something to you? You see what I'm saying? If you retaliate against somebody who's done something to you, it could escalate into bloodshed at a greater level. You see? Now it can be a disaster. He told you, don't go there, don't retaliate. Go ahead, you guys wanted to share your story, because I have.
No, I had a similar incident. I went to a client, and right across the street from their building was the bank.
Yeah.
And I'm not that particular bank customer. So I parked there. And sure enough, I heard that faint voice, don't park here. So I said, oh, I'm only going to be here a few minutes. So I got the car, ran into the building, and within that few minutes, someone came out, because from the client's office, you can look into the bank parking lot. And they said, who drives this type of vehicle? They just picked it up.
Oh my God.
Sure enough, you don't want to swipe. 200 and something, I think it was $200 and something that I had to, and just happened that my client gave me the money and I had to reimburse her the next day. But it happened that fast. But
yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So especially the young people, can you see why it would be advantageous to form this relationship so that you can hear these voices, so that you can get around a lot of trouble? Mostly this voice appears through your parents. You see, in other words, they're before you.
Yeah.
They're before you, and they're saying, don't do this. Do it this way, or do this, or handle this way, or handle this way. Why? Because of experience, because of what they went through, because a lot of times that they may have heard and didn't do, and they wound up in the trap. So now they can tell you to do this or to do that. They're your guidance while you're around them. But guess what? You won't always be around your parents. You won't always hear the voice of your father or your mother. And then, buddy, it's all on you. Now you'll be like, oh, what do I do? Oh, how should I handle this? Well, because you can believe most of your young friends won't know how to handle it. They'll probably give you all the wrong information. They'll probably say, oh man, all you got to do is this or this or this. And you wind up going down the wrong road. So the relationship, being able to go into meditation and prayer with the Creator, allows you to sharpen your ears so that you can hear, because He's always talking. He's always available. He's never too busy, like the song used to say. Reach out and touch the Lord as He goes by. You will find He's not too busy to hear your heart's cry. He is passing by each moment. Your needs He will supply. So reach out and touch the Lord as He goes by.
Not only that, I have found, just looking at life from the standpoint, whatever situation you're in right now is not permanent. It's going to change.
Oh yeah.
I don't care where you are, whatever station is going to change. You want to make sure when it changes, you're on the right side.
Oh yeah.
So you can flow through. Otherwise, if you're not on the right side, God loves to test us, and He would test us again and again and again if we don't get it right. So why keep going in circles like the children of Israel?
Well, the cycle itself will test you.
Right.
In other words, the seasons change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have seasonal weather here: spring, summer, winter, and fall.
Right.
If you don't sow a seed in the spring, as the ground gets soft, you don't sow it at the right time, you won't get the desired harvest. Through the summer, you're playing around like the grasshopper and the ant story. You're playing around, having a good old time while the ants were working hard, and then the grasshopper is just fiddling away, playing and enjoying the beautiful weather, laying back on the little flowers and looking at the ants working hard. So you guys are sweating and working and da-da-da. You know, he's just laughing and fiddling away and having a good old time. You know, of course, and then through the fall, of course, you can probably still enjoy the beautiful weather. You're not being pressed. I don't have a gas bill yet. I didn't turn my gas on, so no big deal. I'm still, basically chilling. But when that winter hits, and you're out there in the cold, unprepared, because you didn't do this or I didn't do that. I didn't take care of this or that, and now I'm out here in the cold dealing with it. It's like I didn't patch the roof on the house, and now maybe I can't afford it right now even to do it. When I had it, I spent it on this or that. Now I got snow coming in through my roof, rotting my wood out and all that. Or, certain things might be my furnace or my boiler. I could have fixed it in the summertime, and I didn't. Now I'm wrestling with it while, it's cold. Mm-hmm. And now we're uncomfortable. And it's just how people do. We relax when things seem to be just going so well around us, not preparing and not storing for what could happen. Or not the same thing with teaching your children, not teaching them certain things at appropriate times in their life, so that when they're older, they can take this lesson with them. They can understand what you've said, and then apply it in their life. So they say, man, I'm glad Dad used to tell us this, or he used to teach this, and he used to share this with us, because I'm using it now. I'm really seeing it. Mm-hmm. And it won't be appreciated till you're out there on your own, supporting yourself. And it takes the fear away from being on your own. The knowledge that your parents can put in you, if you receive it, will take the bite out of getting out there.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm out here doing this, and man, so glad my dad showed me this. So glad my dad showed me how to do a little electrical work, or do a little plumbing, or do a little heating and air conditioning. It makes a big difference in
Red drop. Slide it in the box, sir.
In actually stepping out there on your own. Because other young people your age are going to look at you and say, man, how you know how to do that? Where'd you get that from? Who taught you that? They're having a problem with the light or electrical or something, or plumbing, right? And you're, oh yeah, I know how to fix that. Let me show you. We can fix that. Or, they're about to call the plumber or call the electrician. And you're I can do that. I know how to do that. Let me show you. You're just being prepared. This is what Torah teaching is all about. You are being prepared from the age of 2 years old. From 2 to 13. By the time you're 13, you're called a mature adult. You are supposed to be at the age of accountability at 13. And isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
You're an adult at 13. Why is that? Well, we also see in the scripture in the New Testament, it talks about when a girl reaches the flower of her age, forbid or not, let her marry. And the flower of her age is when she comes on her period, when she has her menstrual flow. That means there's an egg there. Okay? Okay.
So providing, the key word, what I heard you say was providing that they receive the teaching.
That's right.
If you don't receive the teaching,
you're just like we are for the most part out here. You're in your 20s. And still
you don't have the basic
and
foundation.
Still you don't have the foundation for sharing your life with somebody else.
Right.
And the life you think that you have was founded on the information of what comes over the television, the internet, and the radio, and what you see amongst your friends, and what they're wearing what they're wearing clothes wise. It's like, okay, this is how you form your information based on what's around you, like that, and that's it. With the teaching, what we call Torah, which the root word is or, which is light. The teachings of light allow you to be mature by the time that you're 13, so that you can make proper decisions based on what? Based on the Torah, based on the teaching and instruction of the Creator. That's what it's based on. In other words, you'll always say, I was taught this from the Torah. I was taught this, or I was taught that if you do this, this will happen, or if you do this, this will happen, or if I do this, this will happen. You've been taught blessings and curses. When you do this, you're blessed. When you do this, you're cursed. And when nations or a people do not realize that these things bring you or keep you in curses, it goes from one generation to the next generation. Why do you do that? Well, my dad used to do it, and his dad used to do it. So why do you do it? I don't know. It's just seems like what's come down in our, Mm-hmm. But it also has its effect on your body. So the things that we do, yes, they have their effects.
It reminds me of a story where I was watching TV one day, and this lady was saying that basically how you just do things not knowing the reason why. And she would take her turkey, mm-hmm. and she would cut the edges of her turkey a certain way. Never knew why. She used to see her mother do it, and her mother was doing it because her grandmother was doing it. Finally, the question was asked, why do we cut the turkey this way? Her grandmother started cutting the turkey in a certain manner just to have the turkey to fit in the pan that she owned. So this went 3 generations.
You see, that's a very good example of things done for a reason. It's just because this is what I saw. So imagine if we always are showing the right things. Mm-hmm. Just think we're showing the right things, or leading the right examples all the time. Yeah. We see mama, submitting to dad. Mm-hmm. We see mom hugging and kissing on dad all the time. And then dad, in turn, is bringing flowers and clothes and nice things and smiling always. See, this is what's supposed to be in place. This is supposed to be in place. But of course, with the perverter in the land, Satan, he's the one who whispers in the woman's ear first. Why do I say it that way, audience? I know y'all heard that one.
Adam and Eve.
Yep.
Exactly. The example we have from there in the beginning. Mm-hmm. He goes to the weaker vessel, and the weaker vessel then, just like the rudder on a boat. The boat is large, but it's got this little rudder that goes left and goes right, and it turns the whole boat. So this little small thing on the back of a huge ship can turn the huge ship. Yeah. And a woman is like the rudder in a family. Right. She's like the rudder in the family. She can make a move left or right and turn the whole house left or right.
Yeah.
Okay?
Ooh, boy.
So, how is it then that she's not aware of her strength for the most part? They're really not aware of the power that they actually have until it's too late. Then they, looking back in retrospect, I see now. Of course you see, because the blinding, or the smoke screen, or the cover that's over your eyes when you're going through, is lifted. And when it's lifted, like the song we used to sing in the 70s, I can see clearly now how the rain has gone. So you're in the storm, you're in the midst. The sand is whirling around you. You're in the desert and the sand is whirling around you. The wind is blowing. You can't see for the sand in your eyes. But guess what? When the wind stops, the sand falls, you can look around and see everything. And basically, maybe you're only 3 feet away from a door that would have led you inside of a house that would have protected you from the sandstorm. You see? This is how it is in life. When you're caught up, you cannot see just how close you are to security. The children of Israel, how far were they? The scripture talks about how far they were from that wilderness circle that they were traveling. Really, how far was Jordan from where they were traveling for 40 years? It was only a couple days away.
And it was supposed to be what, 3-day journey? Or
It was, and you, but 40 years versus 40 years. A month away is around the block compared to 40 years and doing the same thing.
And if you look at your life, you will see that when you get on a certain cycle, by the time you get to the point of really beginning to see and understand, it is about 40 years later. When you look at your life.
Yeah.
So
I ran from the gift, some of the gifts that God has placed in me. Dreams and visions. I ran from a lot of things. I didn't want to hear anything. I didn't want to see anything. I don't want to dream. I'm running. Until I had the dream of all dreams. I won't go into that one, but I had the dream of all dreams that woke me up. Just think a dream woke you up. And this dream was so strong that I said, you know what? I can't run anymore.
So was it a dream?
Exactly. It's just like a prophetic a vision.
Or was it reality?
We call it a dream. It's what you see in the spirit, what you're shown in the spirit, that cause you to have some life changes. You see, some things that can happen to you that cause you to see things different instantly. This is again what I'm talking about. Now you see because of this impact from whatever impacted you. Now I see. I was impacted this way. Now I see. Now I understand. But a lot of times a person gets in that place of understanding, and the place of impact is prison. Or the place of impact is severe sickness. Or the place of impact is some divorce.
Some form of isolation.
Right. It could be divorce, like I said. It could be...
That's why it's important to take time to meditate.
That's right.
Put yourself in isolation.
That's right. Before.
Yeah, it's
the place of impact.
Yeah, the troubled isolation.
Right. Right. You see, and I share this with a lot of people and stuff. I tell them, I says, you know, your life is like traveling this road, and as you get closer in life and older, you see this wall at the end of the road. You start to see this wall or ceiling. I've used that too. It's a ceiling.
Yeah.
Whether you're working in a company and you know that, well, no matter how good I become or what I do, there's a ceiling.
Yeah.
I can only go so far here. I see it, I know it, but I'm striving to get that next raise or the raise after that or whatever. But I know there's a ceiling. You may say that this place may never allow me to be the CEO or the vice president, or you see, and that I call the ceiling. In other words, you'll never be, if you work for Ford Motor Company, I can tell you, you'll never be the CEO of Ford Motor Company. You'll never be the vice president. You might not ever reach upper management. You strive towards those things, but there is a ceiling. There is a ceiling before you have to do things that are way beyond the job description. You know, it goes into the politics of things. It goes into the golf outings, the parties at your home, the serving the vice presidents, the da-da-da-da-da-da, if you'll ever even get in that circle.
Yeah.
But is that considered not normal? Considering, I mean, everything that you just described.
It's normal for what you're trying to achieve.
Right.
It is normal for what you're trying to achieve.
But it's not within the description.
It's not within the job description. You see? So that's what I'm saying. Then you start to see that ceiling of how far I can actually go.
So, just with any contract, you have express, rules within that contract, and then also, so you have implied.
Yeah.
So, really within that job description, you do have your implied expectations.
That's right.
So those are there. They just not spelled out.
Yep. That's good. So basically, when you start reaching that ceiling or that wall, and you're let's say 50 years old. 50 years is a nice number to pick on, because 50 years is a number where a human's life, they see what they have done in their life, and they look back at 50 and they go, this didn't work, this didn't work, this didn't work, so I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do this anymore. Now this work, I think I'll keep doing that, I'll keep that. This work, I'll keep that. But anything that anybody else tries to impose on me in my life, I don't want it anymore. I'm not giving them power over my life anymore. Because basically what I see is, I have been following you all these years and living your life and not my own. And when you start seeing that, unfortunately, it's really clear at age 50. Because before then you're trying to raise maybe children, you're trying to get them through school, you're going through this, you're going through that, so you're still in the routine. And that's what's keeping you occupied, the children. Taking them to school, taking them to football, basketball, baseball, whatever. It's keeping your mind occupied from the real deal, the real meat of the matter. And you find yourself postponing hitting that place of impact, ceiling or wall, but you know it's there, and you know it's getting closer. You see, until one day you do have to face it, because look, I'm standing right at it right now, and I got to make a decision. Well, you knew you had to make a decision back there. You just at the time didn't want to make the decision because you kind of peeped into the outcome. How it would affect other people's lives, or how you would be viewed.
Or just simply just wanting to enjoy the endurance of getting to that ceiling. Because if you know there's a ceiling and you don't like that ceiling, you can make another ceiling. Everything has a cap.
Well, the funny thing is, you already know you don't like that ceiling.
No.
That's the thing. The thing is, usually the people, when I say that wall or that ceiling, you already know that you're not going to like it. That's what I mean by making a choice before. You already know that you're not going to like it. You've already seen the outcome.
Yeah.
You've already seen, wow, if this is not changing now, when I get to that ceiling or that wall, and how do I know these things? Why? Because I talk to older people. People who have already lived in a near death door.
Yeah.
And they all have the same statement. They all tell me, live your life, Chris. Live your life. Live your life, not someone else's life. Not through what pleases someone else.
Right.
I want you to do this because why? It makes me happy.
Yeah.
Well, what about me? You see, I want to do this or live here, don't live here, go here, don't go there. Why? Well, it makes them happy. What about me? I don't want this, but I like this. You see? But if I stay there, I already see the ceiling. I already see the wall. And I know that a decision that I could make today, and I should make today, is going to be the same place that I'll be at when my nose touches that wall. And I'll say, I should have done. But what age will I be then? 60, 70? When your physical attributes are not the same? Moses began to weaken at 120. God let him, live to 120, and he began to weaken. And God was telling him that, no, you will not go over to Jordan. And basically he was giving Joshua instructions at that point. There are certain parts of him that did not weaken, but it talks about how his strength in Deuteronomy 31, 1 through 30, talks about then how his strength started to, wane, but certain parts of him it refers to how they did not weaken. But for the most part, he knew that he wasn't going into Jordan because of disobedience, one, and it was time for the new leader Joshua to take his place. So Moses hit his ceiling, and that was as far as he's going. I'm saying this to say this to us today. Again, it goes back to, do not wait to make relationship with the Most High. You say, because I'm young, oh, I have plenty of time, I can do this later, I'll start praying and meditating, years from now. Oh, because I'm young and I'm strong and I feel my strength. Well, the next day you may suffer some weird illness that puts you on your back for the next 10 years or 20. You know what I'm saying? Then you have to consider that, wow, all the time that my parents were telling me to form this relationship, I was like the grasshopper and the ant. I was out playing my fiddle, watching the ants work hard, watching the ants pray, watching the ants meditate, watching the ants, do those things that bring a harvest. But I was sitting back just pleasing myself. And now this happened to me and changed my whole world. See, we all know somebody who was young and virile and having a good old time. But one day they walked out and they got in their car. They thought they were going to the corner store or whatever. And they had an accident that paralyzed them. You see? Their whole life changes. Changes their school. Changes all things that they once thought they were going to, do. And now they're relying on somebody to exercise their body while they're laying on their back, feed them, clean them, wash their rear end. Because life has come to a halt as they know it. Notice I said that? Life has come to a halt as they know it. But this life that you know is not real life. If you have a relationship, it doesn't matter what happened to your body. The relationship keeps you. That is the real life. And I experienced that firsthand when God gave me a vision of Africa. And my oldest son and I saw it. I wound up saying, okay, Lord, I done already heard for the last 6 or 7 years, you've been telling me to get a passport, and I never got it. That's another time that you heard, you were listening, but you didn't want to do what you heard the Lord telling you to do because you figured, I have time. You know what I mean? Yeah. I can get to that passport, then I'll do it. Man, it might have been 8 years. Yeah. And I finally had to see a vision in the sky with my son to say, okay, I'm going to go get this passport now. So I rushed and get the passport. That was in May 6th, Saturday at 3 o'clock. I wound up, and that was 2009. 2009, I saw the vision. And when I got the passport, 1 year later, 2010, beginning of May again, I meet a lady when I went to my old neighborhood. In the old neighborhood where I grew up in as a child, they introduced me to this lady from Nairobi, Kenya, and she invited me and the neighbor friend to come to Africa, and I wound up accepting the offer. In the meantime, I had a dream of a man with no legs and no arms. Up to his elbows, his arms were cut off. It looked like he had no arms up to his elbow. Mm-hmm. It was a pitch black background, but this man was smiling, and he was looking up into the sky area, or upwards, I'll say. But he had this big smile on his face, like he was very content. And I remember telling my wife about the dream because I always like having a witness to the things that God was showing me, so that when they see the outcome, they'll know that God is dealing with you in such a way. You see, so I shared with her that I saw this African with his legs cut off and his arm, but he was smiling, and I couldn't figure out why he was smiling. Now, when this lady told me, I'm ready for you to come to Africa, I did some renovations on my home, and I'm ready for you. I told her at the time I didn't have the money, which I did not. She wound up sending me a ticket anyway. I got on the plane, and when I got to her home about a week later, I'm walking one of her dogs, and I meet the man with no legs. Same face, same smile, same everything, except where it looked like his arms were cut off, he had arms. But what was there? Severe burns all the way up to the place that I saw where the arms were cut off. What happened to him? He was a welder, he said, and the tanks exploded and caused him to lose his legs. And it burned his arms all the way up to where I saw them cut off. Now, he said that when he was laying on the operating table, he was then calling out to the Lord, saying, if you spare me, I will serve you. Now, you have to think about something. You have to think that, wow, okay, God sends you a picture of a man with no legs and no arms, and he's smiling. Not too many people with no legs and no arms would smile as much as this guy was smiling in this dream. I had to go all the way to Nairobi, Kenya, to see this man smiling because his relationship, again, I'm going back to relationship. His relationship with the Lord was that strong, where he was so content with being spared. He was out there witnessing. That's why he was smiling. He's witnessing to people. He wasn't begging. I didn't see one sign of anybody begging when I was there. I didn't see one give me some money sign or a hand out. This man was witnessing and passing out tracts. And he had the same smile. And I told him, I saw you in my dream. I saw you without your legs, but I also saw you without these arms. And he showed me his arms, and they were both badly burnt all the way up to the area where I saw. So I'm just saying, when God gives you a dream like that, He gives you opportunity to intercede for a person. You could be halfway around the world. And then He gives you a vision. Then He makes provision for the vision. In other words, if you had your own money to make the trip, you would never probably ever give the Creator the glory, because the glory was in your pocket. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As long as I had the money, what I'm giving God the glory for? I reached in my pocket and bought myself a ticket. But in my case, He gives me a vision. He gives me a dream of a man with no legs and it looked like his arms were cut off. Then He prepared and He makes preparation by allowing me to have the ticket. And I wind up going there and seeing this man, just to hear this man tell me this: go back and teach. I wanted to stay there. I didn't want to come back. I like the weather, I like the food, I like the people. And my mind was set. If I find a job here, I'm not going back.
Well, one way I can look at you going to Africa just to get that is because this is something that you've always wanted to do, and so that was His gift to you, so that you can actually see it and enjoy it.
Well, and there always, what He does always has multiple reasons.
Yeah.
You just don't, okay, He's just not, I'm just going to give him a trip. But I'm showing Chris that, and his son, because his son, my oldest son, saw this vision of Africa too. Yeah, well, this one right here, Chris did.
Maybe he's going.
You know, no, but what I'm saying is, what does that do to him? That should show him that God does operate like that. That He will show you certain things. He will let you know that, yeah, this is how I operate, and yeah, I'm going to show you that I'll bring this thing to fruition. I'm going to show you in your young life that you will see my hand working in your father's life. And guess what? If I show you this and I'm working through his life this way, guess what's going to happen to you? Now my son can run all he wants, but and Chris is here now, over there in the corner. So basically, you could say you can run all you want, but guess what? It's going to be your turn. And the thing is, this goes back to the wall is there. Now, this particular wall for you, Chris, would be the fact that you're going to have to face this. You're going to have to get to the place of, I'm not running anymore, Lord. I want to hear you. I want to do what you want me to do. I don't teach religion. I teach salvation. Religion is man-made. It tells you when to do, how to do, what to wear, how to look, how to talk, how to sound,
how to pray,
even how to pray. Salvation is a relationship between you and the Creator, period. That's all it is. The relationship between you and the Creator, period. And when a person says, I have a relationship with the Creator, that person should be able to share with you many things. Because how can I be involved with a woman and we don't have many things to talk about, or many things to share, or many, how? I really must not have a relationship if I don't. You think I could go a whole week without talking to somebody who I'm supposed to be in relationship with on earth, in the flesh? You know what I mean? Now, unless the relationship is real bad. And that's the way it is with the Creator. If you don't talk to Him within a week, and you tell me you have a relationship with the Creator, and I ask you, how's He talking to you this week, or what's He saying? What's He show you this week? And you can't answer that.
Yeah.
That relationship can't be that strong, because He always talks. He talks when you're sitting on the toilet. He talks when you
wake up first thing in the morning.
Wake up first, especially first thing in the morning, just coming out of your sleep. He's talking. He's
talking to you in your sleep.
Talking to you in the sleep. Talking to you while you walk. Talking to you when you look at a bird, a squirrel, nature, whatever. He talks all the time. You just not listening.
So go back to your first thing you said. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice in it. And one of the scriptures that He gave me this week was Ecclesiastes 5:19. It's like if you're able to enjoy life, the fruit of your labor, it's because God has given that to you as a gift. And if you're not at that point, then whatever is going on is within us. And we have to continuously allow Him to adjust us until we get to that point where we are able to enjoy the fruit of our labor. Because as you already seen, He gives you those visions. He gives you those desires. He places those things in your heart. So whatever is going on in our life, we have to look at ourselves internally and continuously go to Him and ask Him to make a change our thoughts, change how we're looking at this glass. Is it half empty? Is it half full?
I like to say it's half full.
Is this situation permanent? Can God breathe life into these dry bones? You know, it's like we have to start looking at stuff from a different perspective.
Oh yeah.
You know. So if we enjoying ourselves, it's because God gave us a gift, and we recognized and we received that gift.
That's nice. And if you're enjoying yourself, only you will know that.
Yeah.
Only you will know that. So I wouldn't want to see a person say, I enjoy myself because I'm being pleasing to somebody else, but that somebody else is not being pleasing to me. Or she's enjoying herself and she has things the way she wants them.
Or no, you sometimes you just look at, you deal with you, the inside of you.
Yeah.
And when you're dealing with the inside of you, I mean, you can go deeper to this, but when you're dealing with the inside of you, it's as if you're finding contentment and happiness with your relationship with God.
Yeah.
Now that makes sense. So if you do that, then you'll get off the other person's back, is what you're saying.
Right.
You see?
Yeah.
In other words, my relationship, I'm content with the Lord, and He's doing for me the things that I need to be done. So I'm not going to ride my husband's back.
Right.
Or I'm not going to ride my wife's back, because I'm still miserable searching for this relation, or trying to find this relationship, but I haven't got it yet. I haven't committed to go in and form this relationship. So I'm going to make her miserable, or she's going to make me miserable. Until then. When the one person has actually found this relationship and is tapped in, that person should be in the place where they leave another person alone for the silly things they used to bother them for. You see? Because they're going to reach the place of contentment. You see, now you get to that place, then that mate will look and say, wow, she really is at peace all the time. And wow, I want to do something for her. I'm seeing what's happening in her life. And I want to seed into that. You see, this is why I mentioned the visions and things. It's like, if you see your spouse is gifted in an area, your thought should be, I want to be a part of that. I want to seed into that. I want to make sure that I am nurturing that seed in him or her. Not destroying it. Not doing the work of Satan. Not smashing him under my foot and making him less than what he could be. Because I am not treating him like I should. You see? But that person has to have a relationship for that. If they don't have that relationship, they won't see what God is doing in you. Wait, no, you had vision, you had dream, you touched somebody, electricity came out your hand, God sent somebody to say thank you to you personally from him after you had a conversation with him. I can go on with a whole lot of stories.
Oh, yeah.
In my relationship, because I have a relationship that if I share with most people the things that he's done through me, they would then look at themselves and say, these things have never happened to me in my relationship with the Most High. How is it that all this stuff he's experienced in his life? You see? So this is what then a person would question, and they should question. At that point, the best thing to do at that point is to turn and start questioning the Most High about, how do I get this relationship? Because it exists, it's real, and you can have it. But you have to be honest with yourself. Right? You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself if you want this relationship. If you want to see these things, you have to be honest with who you are, where you are. And you do have to cry out to the Lord and be honest. Because when your honesty connects with where you really are, you'll be delivered of whatever's in you that's holding you back. Because you got to be clear and expose yourself on the inside. It doesn't have to be somebody else. You have to expose yourself in this place with God. Lord, I'm this. Lord, I see this and I don't like it. Lord, I have this and I don't like it. I see this about myself and I don't like it and I don't want it. And I want to change. And when you state those things, deliverance is on its way. You see, but you have to realize that what you're doing and how you're carrying your life, I don't care if you've been doing it 40 some years. You think it's just you? No, it's a familiar spirit. It's something that's been with you maybe from your granddaddy down to your daddy, to you. It is a familiar spirit that dwells in your soulish realm, and you're sitting up in here petting it like it's a part of you. Oh, that's me, that's how I am, and that's what I do, blah, blah, blah. That's just me, that's my personality. Somebody don't like it, too bad. Okay? Yeah. And then you want to... It is too bad, because you're going to pass that familiar spirit on to your next generation. Unless they're taught this spiritual warfare and they recognize that that is a familiar spirit. But why leave it to them to do battle with this thing when you should be doing battle with this thing? Why leave it up to your next generation? You know, things my father said that he didn't like that his dad said or did to him. And he said that he didn't like it. He did it too. And I would question him, well, Dad, you said that you didn't like this, and you said that your dad did this and this and this. But you repeated it.
Yeah, I fell short a couple of times with that. And I thank God that I recognized it and I changed it.
It's always good. I had a boss that was just like me. in a lot of areas. And I used to see the way he would deal with his wife. And when I got a good look at it, I was driving home. I was coming down Oak Park Drive in Oak Park when we used to live there. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I said, you know what? I don't like that part about myself. I said, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
And I went back and I told the guy, thank you, you did something for me. The guy's born the same time I was, around the same similar personality and everything. And I saw him doing some of the same thing. And I said, you know what? I said, you showed me something. You showed me there's something in you I didn't like, and I saw something that you did I didn't like. You should see the face on the guy when you're telling that, you know. But I said, I'm the same way. And I said, I didn't like it. See, when you're bald-faced honest like that,
Yeah.
it throws a person. What can he say? What can a person say when you say, I seen something in you, I do the same thing and I didn't like it. It bothered me. You see? So I learned how to then kind of taper or ease myself away, start inching away from that part of what was operating in my life. So you're always checking yourself, always looking deep in yourself, always examining yourself to see that what you desire, what it is that you really want, is this of the Creator? Is this a good thing? You see? And I'm always reevaluating myself. If I say, well, I want this, this, and this, I look at it. Is that good? Does it fulfill the priestly purpose? And if I say, yeah, it really does, then I'm keeping it. If I see where it's actually negative, well, check it with the Lord. Lord, you know, I thought I want this, but I see where it's not good. But if I see where it's a position, priestly position, meaning, does it increase the kingdom of God? Does it benefit the kingdom of God? Does it educate people? Does it usher people into relationship with God? If the answer is yes, it does. Yes, it would. Yes, yes, yes. I see positives all the way around it. Then those are the things I want to keep. But if I'm browbeating somebody verbally, if I'm verbally abusive, I don't want that. I need to get away from that kind of person. You see? Because you are hindering me from being me. You are hindering me from operating the way He would have me to operate. I shouldn't have to beat you up verbally. I shouldn't be arguing with you. I should understand that if you're a cup, I'm going to leave you a cup. If you're a book, you're a book. If you're a microphone, you're a microphone. These are some items that are in front of me. Book, microphone, cup.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask the mic to be a cup, to hold the water for me. And, you know, I'm going to pour water all over the microphone. It's going to short my microphone out and get electrocuted.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not going to talk into the book and expect a book to transfer the signal somewhere so it's recorded.
No.
Okay? So I'm going to leave things the way they are and let them function the way they are so I don't frustrate myself. So I'm not arguing with the cup. Why can't you do what the mic does? Why can't you do what the book does? Why can't you? Why? There's no peace in that. There's no peace in it. And we have been taught all the wrong things that keep us in this place where we're not at the place of peace. Because what has been stripped from us, our lands, our language, culture. Going back to what she said about cutting the chicken or the turkey, and generations after generations cutting it the same way. Why? Well, originally Mom's pot was shaped this way, so she would cut it this way so it'll fit in the pot. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, when they married at 13 years old, see, my great aunt, usually they married at 13 years old, 14 years old. Why? It's just like that chicken. It's been passed down.
Yeah.
How is that passed down? Well, because they understood when a girl reached the flower of her age, forbid her not, let her marry. Oh, that's in the scripture, isn't it? Yeah. When a girl becomes fertile, when she produces an egg, when she was taught the teaching and instruction of God, she was mature at that age and ready to be given in marriage. But guess what? We don't teach that. We don't have this knowledge. Therefore, our children have to wait until they're a lot older before they become decently mature. I put it that way because they really aren't still.
Yeah.
Because anytime you are away from the word, real word, from where we really come from, not what this man has enslaved us with, but from where we come from originally, we're so far from maturity, it's not funny. We don't know up or down. We don't know levity from gravity. Because true teaching has been removed from us, and our teachers have been destroyed. Basically, they had this in them. And those that took this knowledge is hoping we never wake up again. So I say this to say this. Examine yourself. Understand that true relationship follows with signs. Okay? When you come into true relationship, signs follow. Just like when a man joins himself to a woman, signs follow. What? Babies. Babies for one. And just like spiritually, what is a baby? Huh? Spiritually, what is a baby? A baby is something God places in you to be birthed, to then be nurtured, come into fruition, and be fruitful. You see? Yeah. So every time you dream about babies in a dream, it's about something that's been placed that's going to be brought forth. It could be a bad seed baby. It could be a baby. Or it could be a good baby. But normally in a dream you'll know, you get the vibration of what it is.
Yeah.
But babies represent what could be. Babies are fruit. The fruit of your loins. You see?
Yeah.
The fruit that when mom and dad get together, they make fruit.
Yeah.
Dad plants the seed in mom. She's looked at as the earth. This is where Mother Earth comes from. Dad puts his seed in Mother Earth. Yeah. And up comes fruit. All this, again, like I said, it ties into relationship. It ties into knowing how to deal with the earth. The earth has to deal with the seed. Because she's got to fertilize. Actually, she's got to be a fertile place for the seed. Hopefully the seed is going into some good earth. So that our fruit is strong. So that our offspring can produce future strong fruit. And how can you be strong without the word in your life? So I'd like to end it right there with understanding that the teaching and instruction of the Lord makes for strong fruit and relationship.